Taken a little time off of the videos over the last couple of months for a multitude of reasons. One, been focusing a lot of effort on our podcast. If you haven't heard about it or you haven't seen it or listened to it, links in the description below. Outside of that, we have been undergoing major, I don't want to say changes, but we've been undergoing a lot of progression and a lot of intentional strategy planning for this particular calendar year, 2019. And during that process, I take a little time off of the videos because my mind is in so many different places. But today I wanted to talk about decision paralysis. It is something that I think it affects everyone. Business leaders in your business world, in your personal life, and even if you're not a business leader or a leader, it still is something that you struggle with. I've been listening to a lot of books through Audible over the last couple of months, and I also listened to a podcast recently where Seth Godin made a statement of when you're in a leadership position, when you're a business owner, it's okay to tell people that you make decisions for a living, because it's very difficult a lot of times for a lot of us to be able to communicate what it is that we do on a daily basis. And he says you can tell people you make decisions for a living, and that's an easy way to do that. Well, can you figure out what changed?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
So we all, I think, have run through a certain place in our life where we have a lot of decisions or a lot of options, and then we get decision paralysis. We can't make a decision, and so our indecisiveness and our confusion or our inability to make a clear decision ends in not making a decision at all, which is very frustrating. In our current society, there's so many options that we have a hard time narrowing down to one choice. Whereas before we had an easier way to make decisions because we had less choice, but now because we have so many choices. So through that process, in our business right now, we're currently working on several different things, and you can put them in a lot of different buckets, but there are expansion possibilities, there are new pricing structures, there are new processes, there are new things, new departments, new. As Seth Godin so eloquently stated, you can simply say I make decisions for a living, but when it comes down to it, you actually have to make the decisions, and you become paralyzed by the amount of decisions that you have to make and the impact that those decisions have on more than just you. Hello? That's what I'm saying, is that it would have to be on a different policy. Have fun. Phone call, question, decision. There was only a couple of options, so the decision was pretty easy. But when you get into the more complexities of, if we do this, these are the possible outcomes, but if we do this, these are the possible outcomes, and some of them overlap, it becomes a complicated scenario, and a lot of people deal with it in different ways. Some of them just do research over and over and over again, and just exhaustive research until you come to a conclusion that you feel the most comfortable with. And some people do it through intuition, and some people do it through trial and error, or the decision is to be frozen and not do anything. And I think all too often in many situations, business leaders and us as individuals grasp a hold of that or get stuck in the decision paralysis of just not doing anything. And I struggle with that, because there is a complete flip side of it, is to not force a situation. Maybe it's bad timing. Maybe it's a concept that came up that doesn't need a decision. But all of the unmade decisions, all of the unopened decisions are open-ended, and they're in flux. And when you're talking about a team or a group of people, and people are relying on the answer, then they're waiting, and then it causes a ripple effect throughout your organization or throughout your family or whatever, because people are in limbo of what's going to be the answer and which way are we going to go. And we've been in that situation for the past several months. We've been working through some new pricing structures. We've been working on budget planning for 2019, and all of those things cause us to get to certain areas and we have to pivot. We have to make a decision one way or another. And until that decision is made, we can't progress further down that line, or we have to move to a different thing to work on or a different thing to decide on, and then go a different path, and it causes all these ends. It's something that I think we all struggle with. It's something that I think we all have to navigate. My question is, because I don't have the answer, is what do you do about it? What are some strategic things that you do? Do you just journal those things and come back to them later? Do you just set them off to the side and forget about them? Do you not worry about it until they come up and become a larger problem? So the question for this is, what do you do about decision paralysis? We've all been there. We've all been in that process. We've all been stuck in that position. What is your solution for working through decision paralysis, and what are you going to do about it in 2019? That's the question.